back. Welcome back. Hopefully, I'm live on all of the streaming platforms I plan to be live for. I know I'm seeing a notification for Twitch showing nothing right now. Let me update my YouTube and see what's going on, or just refresh my YouTube and see what's going on. Um, been spending all day today trying to get it right. Um, I don't know why it's showing the wrong damn picture, but it's showing the wrong picture on my YouTube live. I gotta go change that. I definitely gotta change that. Let me change that because I know people gonna see that and they gonna think one thing when it's not. That's not what I'm trying to do. Let me change that thumbnail real quick. Yeah, let me save that thumbnail. But I am live, man. I am live. You know what I'm saying? See a couple people in here. You know what I'm saying? I'm actually viewing it from what's up, man? What's going on, y'all? I ain't been live in a minute, man. What's happening, man? I'm live right now on YouTube. I'm live right now on Kick as well as Twitch. You know, it looked like it's buffering a little bit. What's going on with y'all, man? What's the word? What's been going down in the Georgia world, man? Y'all see, I got the red robe on today, baby. You know what I'm saying? I got the red robe on today. It's chilly, it's cold. You know what I'm saying? This just a regular, you know, a regular talk live. We ain't doing nothing special. We just, going live right now. I just want to see how well everything look. Like I said, I am live on YouTube, live on Kick, and live on Twitch, man. And if y'all already got the Twitch and the Bulldogs, but we all love the Georgia Bulldog talk. But I had to merge into something a little different because I know there's a lot of topics out there. There's a lot of things out there that people be wanting to actually talk about, but we can't necessarily talk about it at the dog channel because the dog channel is specifically for the dogs. And I see that I'm buffering on YouTube, so y'all don't even trip. You know what I'm saying? I see what's going on. I'm monitoring it. So, don't trip. I'm gonna get it right. It's gonna be right. We just gotta, iron the kinks out. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on with y'all, man? I see 9 people right now in the live. What's going on? Yeah, I gotta iron some things out. Seem like my thing is extremely high. I think it's coming from my frames. Let me see something real quick. Wow. I don't know why I go. I guess the more you multi-stream, but I probably whenever I go live on YouTube, guys, as far as the doghouse, it's gonna be specifically for the doghouse live. I'm not. I'm. This is just a test run. This is not, anything dealing with what I'm gonna be doing on the regular. You know. Matter of fact, let me take kick off and let me take Twitch off because I don't even have no subscribers on Twitch or Kick right now. But I'm just kicking it with y'all right now. What's going on, man? I see y'all watching. What's happening, man? Ain't nobody talking about nothing. What's going on? I can't even see the chat. Oh, okay. I see. I see. I see. Who that is? Indigenous. What's up with you, fam? I'm just chilling right now, bro. I ain't doing nothing, man. I'm just kicking back, just trying to see if everything runs smoothly. But I can definitely see that when I multi-stream, it does a lot of buffering. So whenever I do my dog's channel, I'ma definitely not multi-stream to multiple different platforms. Uh Ain't nothing, man. Just trying to get everything right with the technical difficulty side of things. You know what I mean? Just trying to get this thing right and copacetic, it takes a lot, man, especially when you're doing everything by yourself and you're doing everything off of one laptop. That's the biggest thing right there. Doing everything off of one laptop. That's where you're gonna run into those problems and errors, and I'm definitely running into them today. Um, but I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. I know what I need to do. What's been going on in dog world though? Cause I've been seeing little stuff here and there, but I ain't been hearing nothing really new. Just a lot of like different conversations. Hadn't heard anything new. Obviously everybody just forming their opinions and different talks and talking points about what's going on with Georgia, or or who we getting in, and did Kirby Smart do as good as he should have done when it came to the transfer portal? I talked about it a while ago, and I felt like he did great in the portal. I don't think Kirby Smart did bad at all. I think he actually went in very aggressive. I know nowadays we seeing talks where they saying, did he get the right type of guys or the big names out of the portal? Which, in my opinion, I don't always feel like big name guys. You matters all the time. I just think that, just finding the right player that fits your program is the main thing that you want to look for. Um, and that's the thing. Like when I was seeing that, I was like, what the hell is going on? Why are they constantly putting out stuff about if Kirby Smart went hard enough in the portal? I think Kirby Smart went extremely hard in the portal. If you ask me, the guys that he got, the amount of guys that he got, I don't even think people even realize that he got at least two offensive players. A lot of people was complaining about us not getting receivers. Well, we got a receiver. They was complaining about us not getting the offensive lineman. We definitely did get an offensive lineman. Y'all go check it out, man. Um, I see your chat down here, but I don't know why it's not popping up in my thing. I got a question. Do you My Georgia Bulldog win another championship and Mike Bobo still call the plays? We just don't know about that, bro. With Mike Bobo, I know that's gonna always seem to be the talk when it comes to Georgia, but I just don't know. You know what I'm saying? I can't say right off if, Mike Bobo. I just can't say right off, bro. A lot it's just always talk about Mike Bobo's play calling, and we just don't know yet, because like I said, y'all gotta go back to 2023, when Carson Beck was under center, man. Like the ball was getting thrown, and spread it out to a bunch of players. Like I think that it's a mix between the quarterback as well as play calling. I think sometimes when it comes to play calling, it's what your OC sees from his quarterback. If he does not feel confident enough to spread the ball out with the quarterback, a lot of times that's what you're not going to get it. You know what I mean? So I think sometimes we got to look at that also and not, you know, I've said this over and over multiple times, over and over. We can't just put it specifically on the OC. I think it's judging what type of quarterback you have and what type of talent that he has around him. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's the quarterback and sometimes it's the receivers. If you can't get guys open or if guys can't get no separation, obviously you're gonna run into those errors. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna run into those problems, and that's not the OC. Just like in 24, the OC could not go out there and catch footballs, right? He can only he draw up the plays and call the plays, but he wasn't out there, you know, throwing and catching footballs. So we can't really put every single thing on Mike Bobo. And I am not no way, shape, or form a Mike Bobo fan. Like it's nothing that I feel like I would be a fan of Mike Bobo for. You know what I'm saying? Not at least not at this point. But I'm just telling you the truth. I'm telling you from what I see. You know what I mean? You got to go back to the 23 season. You know what I mean? What's up, Dog House? You hear anything recent on a quarterback situation? Nah, ain't nothing recent. I think Gunnar Stockton will be the starting quarterback. He will be named the starting quarterback for 26. Outside of that, we landed what's his name? Uh I can't even think of the boy from Oregon that committed to Georgia. I can't even think his name. Bryson or something. Bryson Beaver, I think his name is. And yeah, like the quarterback room is pretty good right now. Like I said, man, with hopes that Gunnar Stockton has taken and taken in and learned his got the experience that he need in 25. If it carries on into 26, that would be great. I wouldn't have an issue with him. But like I say, it's a mixture, I think, in my opinion, of play calling, because sometimes the play calling is very mediocre. And then sometimes it seems as if and you guys could also go on YouTube too. I can't think of the guy name right now, right off, but it's a guy on YouTube right now, bro, that broke down the plays to let a lot of people know that it was not the O line that was the problem. A lot of it was your guy Gunnar Stockton. He's not hitting his men. He's missing men downfield. You know what I'm saying? His ability to go through his progressions are very slow, and the video really breaks it down. I would advise you guys to go to that breakdown. I wish I can pull it up right now, but I don't want to disturb my live. But if I could pull it up right now, I would show you guys that it specifically shows you that the play calling was not the problem. The O line was not the problem. Let's cut that narrative out. That's something that I've been wanting to talk about also too. Cutting out the narrative about the O line. The O line wasn't the problem this past season. It was only a problem early on in the season when Ernest Green was out and you had to start some of the young talent. But once Ernest Green got back in, and even with Mike Bobo, even with Drew Bobo, I'm sorry, even with Drew Bobo being out, it still really was not a problem, guys. I think that a lot of people want to hold on to that narrative because a lot of people want to cape for Gunnar Stockton, or they want to make it seem as if Gunnar Stockton, did so well last season, which he didn't do bad last season, but he ended it out pretty bad last season with the loss against Ole Miss. But at the same time, I think a lot of people wanted to cape for him, and it's not. My thing is, I'm not gonna cape for somebody just because he's my quarterback. My thing is, if I see that you're not doing very well, and like I said, you can go on YouTube, and it's a guy on YouTube that's breaking it down. He's breaking it down very good too. He seems like he knows football, and it shows that it was not the O line. So that narrative has to change, man. You said most of the. I gotta look at it on because I can't see. Let me see something. Let me see. I don't think I could see it on I have to look at it on my phone. Hold on. Because of the way I stream from the beginning. Most of these talk shows have turned into talking heads struggling to keep relevant content. Oh yeah, you already know. That's why I haven't been live, guys. I'm not going to get on here and just try to, keep something going, right? You know what I mean? I got other things that I want to do. That's why I'm trying to start my multi-streaming, because I have other things that I want to do during the off season. But I get exactly what you're saying. I see it every day. I see it every day. It's just a bunch of talking points, unnecessary, irrelevant talking points. And it's just a he say, she say game. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know anything. All we know is that we have Mike Bobo as our OC, and it looks like Gunnar Stockton will be our starting quarterback in 2026. So that's all we can really go off of. You know what I mean? But having random topics about stuff that's not even is pointless to talk about. Me personally, I don't do it at the doghouse because I understand that it's just like it's the same old that gets boring. So that's why when I talk to y'all about Bobo, I try not to say it over and over, but I think a lot of people want to hold on to the same thing about Bobo, and I'm like, nah, we can't keep doing that. That it's not fair to anybody, to any OC, to keep bashing him over something when you can clearly see that your quarterback is not the best guy. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he's not the best guy for Georgia because clearly he was the best guy in 25. We didn't get to see much from neither one of the Ryans, but at the same time, I feel they made the right choice when it came to starting him in 25. Now in 26, if they really, make it a competition between all of these guys, maybe these guys can compete for that spot. But as of today, I feel as if Gunnar Stockton will come into 26 as the starting quarterback. But I think we have other problems outside of Gunnar as well, so I don't want to harp on him so much either. I think we have a lot of other issues that we gotta try to fix right on the defense side of the ball. But he went and got guys as far as defensively, so I feel, in my opinion, that things will get worked out. I just think that it's gonna take some time. It's gonna take some chemistry building and everything else. So, you gotta see who's gonna fit, who's gonna be that playmaker for you, offensively or defensively. That's just my main thing when I look at what's going on at Georgia. I don't want to always think, well, do is the problem Mike Bobo? Is the problem Gunnar Stockton? Me, like I said, 50-50. I feel like it's 50-50. I feel like the play calling mediocre, and I also feel like the quarterback is mediocre also. So therefore, you're gonna have some games where you're not gonna understand what the hell the problem is. But then, like I say, you can go and jump on YouTube and see some breakdowns, and there's some pretty good breakdowns on YouTube. Now, the guys that cover Georgia, I wouldn't necessarily go look at them for the breakdowns because they're gonna have a biased mindset when it comes to the breakdown. Go listen to somebody that's not a Georgia fan, and they can clearly show you the breakdowns correctly, and they'll show you that the narrative about the O line was not true, and the narrative about the play calling was not necessarily true either, right? So if you do that and you really go into it with an unbiased mind, you'll understand that a lot of the times it wasn't what you think it was. You know what I mean? Didn't use enough compost season, but trying to reach a Caleb Porch. I'm MA. We didn't use our tight ends. That's another thing too with the tight end game. Like, I just think it was due to whatever we had going offensively. We needed more guys to block this season, last season, and that's what happens. I think a lot of times when your O line, in the beginning of the season, when your O line was kind of shaky, you needed those guys to block. Now, eventually, the O line did get better. Now, why didn't we see, Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky a whole lot? I don't know, but we did get to see them from time to time. They did get some catches. We did see Oscar Delp get a couple of catches. So I think that it just depends on the players. You know what I'm saying? Like that's all it really depends on. And what the play is. If the play calling for the tight end to block, that's what he got to do. That's his job. If it doesn't require him to block, it's up to him to get open. And if every tight end is not going to be a Brock Bowers, that's what we got to do as Georgia fans. We got to realize that a lot of certain players that were big playmakers that we don't have anymore, we can't assume that we're going to get another guy just like that. So you got to kind of, look at it in that sense. You're not going to have too many Brock Bowers. I don't think anybody in college football has a Brock Bowers or a guy that has made plays like Brock Bowers as far as the tight end position. It's some tight ends that are getting more attention or they're getting more targets on other teams other than Georgia. But at the end of the day, you don't have a Brock Bowers type of tight end. So you can't expect, that's like, when y'all say, well, we didn't use our tight ends enough. Okay, well, when the tight ends are not blocking and they expected to go out for a pass, you got to think of if is he getting open? Is your quarterback going through his progressions and able to connect, or is he able to see over the offensive line? You know what I mean? Is he going through them quick enough to be able? And it's a lot. That's why I always say it's a lot of variables. It ain't just one thing. So we can say a lot of things. We didn't use the tight ends enough. We had Mike Bobo running the plays, well, calling the plays. We had Gunnar Stockton under center. It's a lot of things that it's no one in particular thing. I don't think. It's a few things on why this team didn't excel on offense as well as they should have excelled with the weapons that they had. Because my personal opinion is we had way too many weapons this season. I mean, I understand that Kobe Young got hurt. You know what I mean? I understand that, but you still had guys outside of Kobe Young. But what I did also see that Noah Thomas, he could not get any separation. And if you're a receiver that can't get any separation, you don't have any. You're not really included as a weapon. So his only weapon was Zach Branch, and then y'all can see that's why we were throwing a lot of bubble screens because Zach Branch couldn't go down for a 50-50 ball like that. I'm not saying that he can't do it at all. I'm just saying with his height and size, the best bet is to have him like a slot guy or somebody, a bubble screen pass or something like that. You don't want to go downfield with a guy like that. We tried that within the first play or two. I think it was the first play against Ole Miss, the second game of Ole Miss in the playoffs. We tried that with Zach Branch, and it clearly did not work. We had to go back to what we did best, and that's the bubble screening when it came to Zach Branch. You had what's his name? What's my guy name, man? Well, he ain't my guy, but the other wide receiver came from Vanderbilt. How did I forget his name? He's almost not even on the field half the time, so it's kind of hard for London Humphreys. I'm sorry. So London Humphreys was out there, but he was not effective at all. Noah Thomas wasn't effective at all. I don't know why they didn't throw Tylen Taylor back in after that Alabama game. They kind of really didn't really start him again or give him a second chance at that point. But I don't know. It could have been some type of little injury. I don't recall it being an injury, but we didn't see him again. So maybe that's what it was. You know what I mean? Just a variable, just a lot of things. His biggest problem is missing options. He locked in on one target. Yeah, that's another thing too that I saw too, Ra. I saw that he does lock in on one target. As soon as he snapped the ball, he's already eyeing the target versus going through the progressions. You know what I'm saying? Checking down, doing his check downs. I rarely see him doing check downs unless he just got unless we're playing a defensive line that's not that very good and he got time to sit in the pocket. I've rarely seen Gunnar Stockton do a check down. And that's just something that he's gonna have to learn. And hopefully he's learned that. And hopefully he's gonna get better with that if he's gonna continue to be the starter, but just completely giving up on the guy. I don't want to say that I want to do that, but that doesn't say that I'm a fan of because I'm still not a fan. But I don't want to just give up on a guy just because he didn't play. He didn't win us a national championship. I mean, I can't expect every quarterback to help win us a national championship. I mean, it just all depends on who we land and who stay committed and who doesn't transfer out or who doesn't flip or whatever. So it's a lot of things that goes into college football, man, and it's getting only harder and harder because of NIL being out there. NIL is like the major thing out there that's causing a lot of these players to go other directions and go where the money is, and a lot of guys can go like I saw somebody in the comment section of one of these guys' channels saying that it's sad that Kirby Smart want quarterbacks to sit on the bench for 2 years. And I'm not even gonna lie to y'all. With me being a big fan of Kirby, man, I do see where that comment came from. Like when you think about it, it seems as if Kirby want these guys to sit down, and it's like a lot of these guys coming into college football, they're not trying to sit down, man. A lot of these guys are being started at other programs, so that's what they're looking to do. Not saying that that's what Kirby Smart has to do. I'm just thinking of it in the sense of keeping guys on the roster, keeping these top guys on the roster. You can't have them sitting down for 2 years and think they're going to be with you for 2 years. Luckily, a guy like Ryan Puglisi and Ryan Montgomery, they didn't transfer out anywhere else. I mean, they could have entered the transfer portal. I'm sure there were somebody that was interested in those two guys. I don't know if the top guys were interested in those two guys or the top programs were, but I know that somebody, probably was interested in those two guys and they decided to stick around with Georgia. So I mean, that's cool too. I just would love to see what either one of these guys got to offer. Like I said, if these guys can't outdo Gunnar Stockton this up and coming season, then I don't know when they'll be ready, right? If Ryan Puglisi can't outdo Gunnar Stockton in this offseason, when will he be ready? He should be ready by now. Honestly, he should be ready by now. Do he have game time experience like Gunnar Stockton? No. But Gunnar Stockton didn't have the game type of experience that, we would have liked for him to have coming into 25. But I mean, he held it down for as long as he could. You feel what I'm saying? But I just think that with the way that Gunnar Stockton plays, I don't think that it should be very hard unless you're turning the ball over. It shouldn't be very hard to outdo this guy in practice. But hey man, we just have to see. We just gonna have to see if Kirby is gonna make it a real competition and make it a real dog fight when it comes to those quarterbacks. I know it's a real dog fight when it comes to every other position. We do know that, right? And that's the funny thing about it because I always see competition being had in other rooms. We always see competition being had in the wide receiver room, in the linebacker rooms, in the running back rooms, but we never see it as far as the quarterback room. We just see one guy. when it's his time, ironically with Georgia, it seems to be who's ever next up is the guy and only the guy. We don't see anybody, you know what I mean, getting a shot. It's just that guy, which is weird to me. So either we're not getting great quarterbacks or we're getting pretty good quarterbacks, and we're not developing them good enough for them guys to come in and and us see somebody outside of who's the starting guy is, especially 26. 26, we looking to see something totally different. Like, I've been wanting to see something totally different this season coming up because I can't see us doing the same thing we did in 25. Like I broke a video down a while ago. Y'all go on my channel, y'all can go see it. I broke a video down where I talked about how we didn't do any better in 24. I mean, from 23 to 25 we really didn't get really better. The only thing that we got better at was the run game, and that's nothing, right? Like we got to get better. We were actually better in 23 than we were in 24 and 25. And the stat shows, the number shows, it's not just my opinion, the number shows. So it's like in order to look better, we got to be better. So I don't want to see us come into 26 looking like we did in 25. Then it makes me feel like, what did you guys do? What did y'all adjust? Now we know they're gonna make adjustments defensively. We already can clearly see that because all of the guys that committed to Georgia or transferred to Georgia, there are immediate starts. They can start immediately. Most of those guys probably will start immediately or have the ability to start immediately, depending on what they do, in practice. So my attitude towards it is we gotta see something different. And Gunnar Stockton can no longer be okay. He has to be good this season. He has to be. He's done been with us how long now? It would be what, 4 years, I think, right? Yeah. Gunner is a game manager. Yeah, I believe so too. He's a game manager. You know what I mean? He's just there to manage the offense. He's not really a game changer. And that's the problem. We're gonna need game changers from time to time. Not always. We let me get don't get me wrong by saying we gotta have a flashy guy every single season. That's not always the case. But at some point, you're gonna have to start showing some flash more than taking hits. Because a lot of guys that's Georgia fans pride Gunner on how tough he is. Well, tough don't always win games. You can be tough in the game and be getting your ass whooped. So it's just like I don't want to hear all of that. Oh, he's tough. He's tough. Yeah, but tough is not gonna win you no national championship. You know what I mean? Just being tough alone won't win you a national championship. So I got to see more than just him taking hits and getting back up. And I got to see more than that. In order to play quarterback nowadays in college football, you got to be tough. Period. How many weak quarterbacks in college football do y'all see out there? If a person get injured, that's just them getting injured. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I don't see guys crying on the sidelines. Most guys get hit, sit out for a minute or so and get back in. Sometimes they might get in earlier than another quarterback, but for the most part, being tough is I'm not buying that this season. That's just my opinion though. Y'all can think what y'all want, but I'm not buying it this season. Elisa is basically a Darnell Washington. Yeah, we would love to see Ulysses. I hope I'm saying his name right. We would love to see him. He's one of those guys. I think he's possibly better than Darnell Washington. I think that he's faster than Darnell Washington. I think he's around the same height. I think both of them was like 6'7". So I think that he could be a hell of a talent for Georgia. But it's just all depends on what this offense is going to look like. We did reel a guy in on the offense. I think we got a tackle. I think a lot of people might have missed that, or maybe y'all didn't miss it, but we got to tackle in for those who just was wondering what's going on offensively. Why didn't we get an offensive tackle? We did land an offensive tackle. I don't know why it wasn't really broadcast as much, but we did land one. And I think we did a great job. We did a great job in the transfer portal. I will say, it depends on, we still got to see how these guys are going to play, but I think we did a great job. Our tight ends Kirby spoke on that in the game. They didn't get enough yaks. They wasn't athletic enough. Number 10 can't. Yeah, I think most of our tight ends were young too. I mean, the only tight ends that's veterans really was Oscar Delp and Lawson Lucky. Outside of those two, most of the other guys are young. So I wasn't really expecting to see a lot out of them. I was actually expecting to see more out of the veterans that we have, and we didn't. Like I say, it could have been a number of things of why we didn't see it, but I can't say anything specifically because I haven't went back and watched every single game to say, okay, that's why he didn't get open, or that's why he didn't make a play. You would have to actually go back and watch every single game to actually see what's really going on, what really happened with the tight ends. My my opinion, just throwing it out there, like I said early on in the video, I just think it's due to how well your O line is playing, how well your quarterback is playing, and if the play is designed to get a tight end open. But yeah, it's just however you look at football. Love what I saw from Nate Frazier. Yeah, Nate Frazier. I'm gonna continue to root for Nate Frazier. I've been rooting for Nate Frazier since day one. Since ETN, him and ETN was 1-2 punch. I was rooting for Nate Frazier even then. I started rooting for Nate Frazier at the beginning of the 25 season, and gonna continue on to root for him, man. That's just what it is. A lot of people counted him out as well. He can't hold on to the ball. We want to see somebody else. He fumbled too much, and I kept telling y'all that's just one little thing that he got to clean up. That's nothing that's gonna be a thing that's gonna hinder him from being RB1, and it didn't. It ultimately didn't. So, that's the biggest thing. Don't count somebody completely out. And me being not a Gunna Stockton fan, I'm not gonna completely count him out. And, I'm more so gonna look at it as um just hopefully Kirby Smart make those guys battle it out. Honestly, I was hearing that the biggest battle is going to be between Ryan Puglisi, Ryan Montgomery, and the guy Bryson. But I want to see a battle with the starter quarterback, right? I don't want him just to come in as the starter. I want an actual fight for that position, just like any other position. It's always an actual fight. So I want to see an actual fight when it comes to that quarterback position. 9 times out of 10 with Georgia, we rarely see that, but hopefully we can see something different this up and coming season in 26. Way more they athletic, wasn't getting the opportunity to show their athleticism. Way more than way more. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, eh, that's the thing, man. I don't know, man. When it comes to the coaching, I don't know how they look at things. They may look at things as, oh well, these guys may not be ready to get in and show up and show out. They may feel like, okay, well, Lawson Lucky and Oscar Depp are starters, and prior to the season, they were probably doing the best prior to the season, starting in 25. So maybe that's why. Normally we hear Kirby Smart talk about whoever does best in practice, and they might have been doing better in practice. They might have blocked better. You just never know what the case is. They might run better routes or whatever. You just never know what the real case is unless you're at them practices. I mean, we can speculate all day, but unless you act the practices, we really can't really say who's the better tight end. Who we can say who we think could possibly be the better tight end, but my mindset is just that I think that 26 is gonna show. Hopefully we see something different in the tight end room, the quarterback room. Wide receiver wise, I really want to see guys like Talon and CJ to get out there and really make a name for themselves at Georgia. I really want to see them guys be game changers. We have been missing a game changer in the wide receiver room outside of Zach Branch. So hopefully we can gain at least two or three. Still got Isaiah Canyon came out the transfer portal. So, hopefully we can see some big plays, man. It's no more excuses for Gunner Stockton. It's just no more, man. We can't keep going on and on and on and on with excuses for this guy. This will be, I think, the fourth year he's at Georgia. So he's done gained a ton of experience sitting behind guys like Carson Beck. And, I mean, obviously, a lot of Georgia fans don't like Carson Beck or whatever the case may be, but he sat behind guys like him, and he sat down long enough to actually gain some experience and got on time in the game experience in 25. So there's no more excuses for him. He's got to come in and he's got to be a complete dog. He's got to command his team like he should command his team and make some big plays. I don't think that I think that the quarterback position nowadays in college football, you have to be a game changer. You know what I mean? We don't hardly see a lot of mediocre type of quarterbacks in college football. And if we do see them, they're not winning national championships. They're not winning national championships. The guys that's mediocre and just hands the ball off or only could throw for only 20 yards down the field, those guys aren't winning national championships. They're not going to be winning national championships. You're not going to win a national championship being a pocket passer. That's not that's not happening anymore. Like defensive linemen are getting off the line so damn fast. You got for one, you got to have an O line that can block for the quarterback, and two, you need a quarterback that's a little mobile. And I think Kirby Smart and the coaching staff is understanding that now. I had been talking about that for a while. For the last like year or two, I've been talking about the new wave in college football is to have a dual threat quarterback. You know, a lot of people say, well, this team didn't have a dual threat when they won the national. That team didn't. Yeah, but I'm talking about nowadays in college football, it's best to have a dual threat quarterback. It's best to have a quarterback that's at least mobile, that can, run in and out the pocket, make moves. You know what I mean? That's just what I think that college football is leading to now. Most quarterbacks in the NFL are pretty mobile. You only have a few to this day that's just a pocket passer. Or I would say this also too. It's a lot of mobile quarterbacks in the NFL that's not expected to be mobile. If they have a great O line around them, they're not really expected to be mobile. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is with college football nowadays, what we've been seeing from most of the quarterbacks that have been drafted or got picked up by a team from the NFL, most of those guys are dual threat. They'll dual threat. Now, like I said, some teams may not expect you to be a dual threat depending on the O line, but most quarterbacks that went into the draft dual threat guys. They're pretty mobile. So, you it's just a lot of ways to look at this thing, man. It's more so than talking about doing videos after video. Like I told you at the dog channel, I'm not gonna do videos after videos. I'm gonna just sit back and kind of like do some other things outside of Georgia right now. You know what I mean? If I come up with something or if something comes out, obviously I'm gonna come live or do a video talking about it or whatever the case may be. But I'm not gonna do videos just jaw japping about unnecessary stuff just to make content. I think that that's what's going on, which is cool, man. Everybody does whatever they feel the need to do. I just think, for my opinion, I don't think nobody really has no insight on what's really going on with Georgia. I mean, you might have some intel, a little bit here, a little bit there, but for the most part, you don't really know who's going to be the starter here, who's going. You're not going to know that until later on this year. So the thing is, we just gotta wait to see. It's just a waiting game for the dogs, man. At this point. But like I said, man, I just went live today, man, because I really wanted to try the streaming to YouTube as well as kicking Twitch. But I seen I had some little issues doing that. So now I'm just gonna probably focus on just streaming to Twitch and Kick for right now until I can get things rolling the way it should. But in the meantime, in between time, man, y'all can go to my post and I got the links and I got the links in my post on how to subscribe to Twitch and Kick. So make sure y'all do that too, because we're gonna be talking about other things outside of Georgia. Once again, I will say it. We're gonna be talking about a whole lot of topics outside of Georgia because I know it's a lot of other things going on, and being fixated on Georgia right now in the off season is not the thing that I want to do. So for all you guys that want to get into other topics, man, make sure you go to my Twitch, man. Hit my Twitch. Like I said, go to my posts on my channel and subscribe to my Twitch as well as my Kick, man, because I will be doing some content on there as well. Yeah, man. But man, I hope everybody's having a good day today. It snowed for us yesterday here in South Carolina. Didn't think it was gonna snow like it did, but it snowed pretty good. So, hopefully everybody is good, warm and safe, wherever you guys are at. You know what I mean? It's expected to do a little more snowing probably a little later this week, but as of right now, it's not doing really nothing outside. I know it's getting cold. That's why I had to put on my robe because it's kind of cold in my room right now. So, you know, In the meantime, between time, man, y'all already know who I be, man. I am your host, Major, and this is the Doghouse. And we about to get out of here, man. So, hey, y'all make sure y'all stay tuned because y'all know next season we going to be live every Saturday. That's how we going to do it. So tune in, all right? All right, go Dogs. G-A, G-A, that's right.